Hi everybody, Craig from Toy Anxiety here. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. We are going to be taking a look back at my near 3-year journey with the G.I. Joe Classified line from Hasbro. I've done a lot of buying and selling of G.I. Joe Classifieds. It's been somewhat of a toxic relationship, but I'm excited to explore the ins and outs of that with you today here on Toy Anxiety. So anybody who's been following the channel for the last couple of years knows that I have a love-hate relationship with the G.I. Joe Classified line. I first saw it in person at Toy Fair 2020, and though G.I. Joe was never one of my #1 franchises or fandoms, I was mildly interested and pretty impressed with what I saw of the G.I. Joe Classified figures. My history with G.I. Joe is not super extensive. I was born in 1984, and by that time, the Real American Hero line was well underway, peaking in popularity when I was just 3 years old. I was always way more into the Real Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles, and though I did have some G.I. Joes as a kid, including the Defiant, one of the greatest playsets of all time, it was never my #1 love. Cut to 2020, there's a pandemic happening, I'm a bored toy collector, and I see wave 1 of the classified figures at Target. I'll just pick up Duke and Scarlet. That'll be enough for me.
That would be enough.
Well, we all know how that went. I got caught up in the hype. The Cobra Island disaster, the exclusives, the movie thing, whatever that was. The figures are tremendous, let's be honest here. The sculpts are great. Tons of accessories, a wide variety of characters, beautiful art on the packaging. This line really checked all of the boxes. I sold them all. By that point, I had opened everything, probably the first 20 figures. I had all of the Pulse exclusives, the variants, everything, and I sold them. One big lot on eBay. Side note, some of you have accused me of being an erratic toy collector. Even my co-hosts have done that. Here's the thing. I agree. I think I like the chase and the collecting of the actual figures, putting together the collection and hunting them down more than actually having them on the shelf on display. I get it. It's weird, I know. And then, like a bolt of lightning, I'm back. I'm all in on G.I. Joe, but this time not classifieds. See, in late 2021, when I had already sold all of my classifieds for the first time, Hasbro announces their Sky Striker HasLab project. Now, at first, I was going to resist the urge to get involved in this. Don't worry about the FOMO. You don't collect O-ring or vintage-style G.I. Joes. Just don't worry about the Sky Striker. But then, when you've got people like Geek Dad Jay and Dan Larson hyping it up, I was feeling like I needed the Sky Striker. So, of course, I backed it. Then this happens. Early 2022, I find myself at a local vintage toy dealer's biannual garage sale. These guys mainly deal in vintage Star Wars, but they also have a lot of other stuff, including G.I. Joe. But long story short, I went there with zero intention of buying anything G.I. Joe, and I came home with a h.i.s.s flag. Yes, I said that. A h.i.s.s flag.
Here it is, the h.i.s.s flag aircraft carrier. Imagine being on the deck of this aircraft carrier.
The USS flag is fantastic!
The holy grail of holy grail playsets. You don't have to be a G.I. Joe collector to know how important and amazing the h.i.s.s flag is in toy history. 7 feet long, plenty of playability. This is the kind of thing that your friends had, but you never had. And even if you didn't collect Joe, you knew about this aircraft carrier and you needed it in your collection. On top of all of that, I had already declared 2022 as the year of the playset. I knew I needed to kick things off with a big splash. I mean, I didn't want anybody to think less of me. I had always admired the flag from afar. Anytime I've ever seen it at a toy show or a vintage store, I was always just taken aback by the size of this thing. But then I start justifying to myself, I'm at this garage sale and I say, hey, how are you even going to display this Sky Striker when it comes 2 years from now if you don't have a h.i.s.s flag? I mean, aren't you going to respect yourself as a toy collector and buy this thing? So once again, I start picking up some vintage O-ring figures. Not a ton, just ones I really wanted that caught my eye. A Sergeant Slaughter here, a Destro there, a Tomahawk, and more. Slowly, I was going to build out a vintage Joe collection in anticipation for my new Sky Striker that would be delivered at some point in 2023. No joke, like 2 weeks later, I bought all of the classified figures again. One giant lot, mitten box, like the first 33 figures. Why did I do it? I don't know, but I had been thinking about G.I. Joe a lot and I was starting to feel like I was missing out. That's the thing, it's the hype. Hasbro was once again really starting to announce and churn out some awesome stuff like Snake Eyes and Timber, Retro Carded Joe, Spirit, and a lot more. And to be honest, I'm a sucker for good marketing. The G.I. Joe team at Hasbro really knows how to hype their product. They were once again getting me excited about classifieds, and the FOMO was real. So I made a rash decision to dive right back in. I basically rebought everything I had already sold, plus the new ones that had come out since then. But here's the thing, I had no idea what to do with this stuff. I didn't have the energy or drive to open everything again. It was a project I would tackle in the future, once the Sky Striker came and I figured out how to properly display all of these growing collections. I sold all of my classified figures. For a second time. I did, however, hang on to the Pulse exclusive 00 Snake Eyes, kind of a keepsake, or was it a subconscious anticipation of needing it again down the road? Okay, so that takes us to a few months ago. The Joe team is back at it again, and the inevitable happens. They announce another HASLab. Not just a run-of-the-mill rehash of a popular O-ring scaled vehicle, updated with new deco and a premium price point. This was a classified scaled Cobra HISS tank. Massive, beautiful, amazing, electronics. I knew that I was going to have to get this thing. Now hold on. Just because I want to get this HISS tank and I'm willing to shell out the $400 it takes to get one in my hands, that doesn't mean I have to collect all the classified figures again, right? Like I could just pick up a few, maybe just get the Cobra team, right? I could just display the HISS tank on its own with the driver and the gunner, and I'll be content. That would be good enough. I can do it. No, I can't do it. That's the thing. That's the point of this video. I'm either all in or not at all. I don't know why, but that's just the way my mind works. So again, for the third time, I'm out there looking for a lot of G.I. Joe classified figures. So the plan was to piece this collection back together slowly with zero intention of giving up for a third time. But I ended up coming across a lot on Facebook Marketplace that was exactly what I was looking for. Some guy, not too dissimilar from me, had collected classifieds for 2 years, kept everything in box, and now was ready to move on. Here we are. I have a huge box of G.I. Joe classified figures, and I'm feeling pretty content and good about where I stand as a G.I. Joe collector. I don't need to pick O-ring scale or classified 6-inch scale. I can collect both and be happy. So that's what I'm going to do. What the future holds for me, I have no idea. Could I end up selling all of these classified figures before the Sky Striker or the HISS tank ever comes? Yeah, I guess that's possible, but that's not what my goal is. Stay tuned until next time, where we will once again come together with more Toy Anxiety.